Hey, welcome in. Well, it looks like school prayer's back in fashion. Just not to your God. Not to your God. Here's the headline. California parents request judge block public schools from asking students to pray to Aztec gods. They shouldn't have to ask that. It should just be understood. Don't get the kids to pray to Aztec gods. Now, I wonder if they're actually trying to get kids to actually worship Aztec gods. I've got a feeling they're probably not. But I can guarantee you if they were, having the kids recite the Lord's Prayer, under any circumstances, no matter the context, there'd be a huge uproar. So I guess fair is fair. And as for the Aztecs, I would say they weren't big on human rights. I think that's one thing you can say about them. I mean, did they have some good ideas? Sure. Did they have some bad ideas? Sure. I mean, their thoughts on rain were bad ideas. How do you make it rain? Obviously, you have to cut out a still beating human heart from somebody's chest cavity, or else it's not going to rain. It's just not going to rain. I mean, obviously. Anyway, it says here, one of the deities in the chants recited by students was honored with human sacrifices. They did a lot of that. Again, you want to make it rain, you got to cut out a human heart. Obviously. You want good crops this year? Hand me that sharp knife. Anyway, it says 3 California parents are suing to prevent the state's public school system from reciting prayers to Aztec deities that have been worshipped with human sacrifice, arguing that doing so violates the U.S. and state constitutions. Let's see. The issue emerged earlier this year when researcher Chris Rufo reported on that particular aspect of the state's ethnic studies curriculum. And I'm all for learning about religion, comparative religion, that sort of thing. And, Aztec culture is fascinating. And one would assume that they're not actually actively trying to get kids to worship Aztec deities, but I don't know, teachers are crazy now, so who knows?
Except for the fact that my room does not have a flag. It used to be there, but I took it down during COVID because it made me uncomfortable.
The curriculum suggests chants that invoke the deity Tezcatlipoca. So let's find out some more about this Aztec deity. Well, there's a depiction of him there, and I have to say he sure looks creepy. So let's see, he was an invisible and well, how'd they know what he looked like then? Anyway, he was an invisible and omnipotent creator god, patron deity of warriors, as the bringer of both good and evil. He was the very embodiment of change through conflict. Well, no wonder the left likes him. All right, so let's take a look at this human sacrifice business. In the month of Toxcatl, the 6th month of the Aztec solar year, Tezcatlipoca was worshipped in special ceremonies. As with other Aztec religious rites, an important part of the ceremony was the impersonation of the god, most often by a prisoner of war, typically the best-looking and most courageous one. For 1 year before, in fact, the captive was tutored by priests, treated as a noble, and even given 4 women to look after him, so he thought he had it good. He was thinking to himself, you know what, these Aztecs are all right. I wish these guys had captured me earlier. But I've got a feeling it probably didn't end up ending well for him after all. When the special month finally came around, the impersonator was handsomely dressed in a warrior costume, and in a symbolic wedding festival, he married his 4 goddesses. That would be the 4 women that were looking after him. But again, I've got a feeling the honeymoon didn't go so great. Honored with flowers and dances, the man god was then ferried to a dedicated temple, where he was promptly sacrificed with his heart removed using an obsidian knife in order to honor the real Tezcatlipoca. So yeah, it didn't end well. But he did go out on top, so you got to say that much. So I don't know, getting kids to do chants to Aztec gods, I'm not sure about it. See, what do the lawyers for these parents have to say? They say, quote, "Our clients are not opposed to having students learn about different cultures and religions, including the practices of the Aztecs. But the California State Board of Education's approved ethnic studies model curriculum goes far beyond that by directing students to pray to Aztec deities. This portion of the ethnic studies model curriculum is not only offensive, but blatantly unconstitutional." Maybe they got a point. Let's see, it says here, under the curriculum's lesson resources, CDE lays out the chant and more generally defends chants as energizers that can bring unity. Unity in what? Cutting each other's still beating hearts out? That's crazy. Quote, this section includes several ethnic studies-oriented chants, proverbs, and affirmations. These can be used as energizers to bring the class together, build unity around ethnic studies principles and values, and to reinvigorate the class following a lesson that may be emotionally taxing or even when student engagement may appear to be low. And on top of that, I mean, if it doesn't rain for a long time, how are they going to know what to do? Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the podcast Radio Baloney. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.